Come on in. I'm going to talk about the graciousness of God and the mercy of God. And life is too short. If you out here wasting your life on some nonsense, you better let it go. You know, I went out today. And God is such a good God. When you are wasting your time, not nobody else's time, your time, to live your life in a way that you either going to jail or gonna die, all that. I'm gonna tell you something. Life is short. And shorter than you think. You know, God is so good. When you go day by day and you acting like everything is okay and it's not, I'm think you got more time to clear it up. No, you don't. You've been going through this thing for so long that you don't even know what to do no more. You ain't got nobody to turn to, nobody to talk to. You sitting up here drinking yourself to death. God knows what else. None of it's working. And I done told you. I'm going to tell you one more time today. You see, what you're doing is you listening, you thinking, but you still doing whatever you need to do. I used to do that too. That don't work. You see, God is a good God. And when we think that, oh, I can still do what I need to do and lay it down, I'm going to be all right. No, it's not. But you don't realize we living in perilous times. We're living in times that, Lord have mercy, you might not even make it through the next few hours. I'm going to tell you the truth. I might not. And see, the thing is, when God keep telling you over and over, talking to you, telling you, being right there for you, I've done that myself. Let me show y'all, I'm having a snack, some ranch dip with some tortillas. But let me tell you something. See where I messed up, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. My parents took me to church. I thought everything was good. I could tell you every Bible, book of the Bible. But when I went off to college as a 17-year-old female, I learned the hard way that first semester. I'm going to give you story time. I've given it before, but I'm going to do it again. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be graphic. If you can't handle graphic, or if you're under the age of 21, then get up out of here. Because it's going to be graphic, and it's going to be real. Alright? No copyright, nothing else. Let me tell you something. Grew up in a small country town. Very small, rural town. And by the grace of God, my parents took us to church. But then when I got to college at age 17, that's when I learned who God was. As I got to college and quickly learned real life. You know, your parents can tell you what it's supposed to be like, but real life is real life. Got there at age 17. Thought I was grown. And grown, let me give you the definition of grown. Back in my day, grown meant that you was driving your own car. Look at my head. Driving your own car. Living in your own place. Networking. The networking meant I got my own stuff. Got up in there to get my education. Messed up going out to them little nightclubs. Meeting them little hot tail boys. Meeting them hot tail men. Boy. You supposed to be getting your education. But you out there in a dadgum club. Meeting these hot tail men. You out there supposed to be getting your education. That your parents didn't get no scholarship, no loan. They paying for it out they pocket. But you out there showing out. That's what I was doing. I'm going to tell you how it came full circle. Mom and daddy working. No student loans, no scholarships. Paying for us to get the education. Out there messing up. Lo and behold. You get your sorry butt out there in the club. And start drinking. Yeah, you young. You get yourself out there and start drinking. You still getting your grades. But you get out there and start drinking at these dadgum clubs. Because see, that's how the devil gets you. Next thing you know. But you didn't realize was that your transcript was going to your mom and them house. So you like, yep. I'm out here. I'm going to school, but I'm partying. But you didn't realize that your transcript was going to your mom and them house. Wait a minute, you feeling good about yourself. At least I was. So you feeling good about yourself. You done hung out 3 nights in a row, drunk, at the club, done went to school. Halfway went to school, your brain wasn't there. Wait, you feeling good? Yeah, I'm doing this thing. Going home, your mother and them like, you coming home this weekend, dear? Yes, ma'am. You that sweet young girl, sweet young thing. Wait. Here you go. Oh, yes. Mom, I'll be home. You feeling good? Get yourself cleaned up, bathed up. You looking good, girl. Going home. You get down there, daddy done made a space for you to park your car. Yeah. Mom and daddy. Oh, how's college going? It's going great. How's your studies going? They're going good. I'm learning so much. Oh, Lord have mercy. In my field of studies, I'm going to be the best. Your mom and daddy looking at you like, is that so? Yes, mom and dad. You on your best behavior. Your daddy tell you, well, park your car out there under the tree. Now, your daddy used to clean your car up when you come in from college. He clean your car, go get the oil change, all that. Everything normal. Your mom done cooked the best peach cobbler, cabbage, candy, yam, chicken, all that. You eating good. So you been down there, you feeling real good about yourself. You feeling good about yourself. It comes Sunday. Your college friends texting you, what time you coming back? Girl, what time you coming back? We going to the club tonight. You like, girl, I'll be back in there. I'm here with my family. We eating good. My mama done cooked cabbage, smothered chicken, sweet potatoes. My daddy got my oil change. So your college friend texting you, girl, what time are you coming back? We don't care about all that. You like, I'm going to be back, girl. Next thing you know, you eat a good meal. Your body is full. Then you say, well, daddy and mama, I got to get on back to college because y'all done told me, get on off this road. You know, it be convicts. Convicts was people that's done broke out of prison. Convicts. And they on the loose. Strays. All kind of old stuff. Daddy, I'm get on up off this road for these convicts mess around and get out. He like, okay. No worries. I go get my bags. Packed up some extra food. Love y'all. Then my daddy was like, put your stuff in the back of the van. Now my mom and daddy drove a van. I was like, put my stuff in the back of the van? Huh? So I went back there. I said, Daddy, in my car, you got the oil change, car clean. Put your stuff in the back of the van, what my daddy told me. And I went back in the house, and I said, Mother, why is my daddy telling me to put my clothes, because you come home from college and, wash your stuff. I said, why is my daddy telling me to put my stuff in the back of the van? She said, put your stuff in the back of the van. And I instantly started crying. Because putting my stuff in the back of that family van meant you ain't taking no car back. My daddy didn't say a word. Or my mother, they said, put your stuff in the back of the van. And I started crying. Yeah, I was crying. They didn't say a word. They didn't say nothing to me but put your stuff in the back of the van. And y'all, I had to take my stuff, put it in the back of the van, going back to college. Then all my friends dropped me off at the dorm room. They was like, you be ready to go to the club tonight? Ooh, they having a contest tonight. Yeah. And I'm sitting up here like, who going? How I'm gonna go? How we gonna go? And them so-called friends was like, oh, where your car at? I said, my car is parked. They said, well, how you get back? I said, my parents. Once I said that, all those so-called friends was like, child, we don't need you. And let me tell you something. That's when I learned the relationship of God, because I said, these people only wanted me because I had a car. My parents got the transcript sent down there to me, to them, showing them that, yeah, she going to school, but she's sitting up here getting D's and C's when I was a straight A. And the thing that taught me early on in life, I said, you got to be kidding me. Them so-called friends, I was like, we don't need you. We just need a ride to go to the local club and the local football game. And the other crazy thing, my parents they didn't say a word. Let me come down there that whole weekend. Didn't say a word. And they said, well, until you get your grades back up to A's, You won't see that car no more. And then I got to work. You know, the thing that helped me, and then the thing I prayed to God. And at first, I'm going to tell you the truth, I prayed to God and I said, Lord, help me get my car back. Help me get my grades up. And I didn't understand at the time. I'm praying to God for some materialistic things. But something else came and happened to me. And God showed me, baby, it ain't about no materialistic things like no car. Because something happened to me in college, and when it happened, I couldn't tell nobody. I never have told nobody. And I just said, God, help me if you really are God. And what happened to me in college, when it did happen to me, I couldn't tell nobody. I said, God, if you really God, help me. Because I couldn't tell nobody. And that's when I had a relationship with the Lord. And let me tell you something. He came in and I said, no, I was probably just drunk that night. And I prayed 2 weeks later and I said, God, I was sober. And I said, if you really are God, you really are here and you love me, Lord, then show me. And it was stuff I had never told God. Something that had happened to me. I couldn't tell nobody. I said, if you really are God, I said, God, I ain't drunk this time. If you God, then show me. Y'all, when God answered me. When God answered me. And from then on, we've had a wonderful and amazing relationship. And the thing is, He's never left me. He's an amazing God. He never left me. And from that point that I went from, because when my mom and dad took us to church, we was at church 5 days a week. And I swore that once I got up out of there, I was like in that movie Color Purple. Once you do right by me. But I was like, once I get out of here, I ain't never going to church no more. Y'all, once I got there and said I wasn't going to church no more, if I tell you, God flipped the, wait a minute, me and my friends was both, yeah, we ain't going no more. We ain't got to go. Y'all, we was up there on our knees. That's the power of God. We was out there, we ain't going no more. We ain't going no more. We ain't got to go no more. Y'all, we was celebrating. Next thing I know, we was like, please God, please Jesus, please Lord, if you're real. And baby, He is real. Same prayer. And I'm so grateful because me and my friends, like when we went through that, we was like, oh God, please Jesus, if you real. And when God showed up, it showed out. Think about it. When we said, we grew up in a church and had to be on the usher board every day of the week, we was like, God darn it, when we get out of here, we ain't doing it. That's when you know God is real, because we was like, we done with this. But you get up in there and you got the call on that call on that higher call, and we was like, Lord God Jesus. Broke down. I promise to God, the thing that I prayed to God about years ago, that I couldn't tell nobody what happened to me in college, quote unquote, put it together. Couldn't tell nobody. And when God came through, I said, Lord have, and it scared me at first. It really scared me at first. And I said, no, this ain't real, Lord. I said, because I said, I ain't drunk this time. I said, but God darn it, I'm scared. But I was crying in my pillow because I couldn't tell nobody what had happened to me in college. I've never told anybody what happened to me, and it don't matter. And then when I cried in that pillow, I was crying because I had a roommate, and I was like, God, if you really are real. And I was crying, and next thing I know, God answered me. And the thing was, when I told, well, God already knew what had happened to me, but all that went out the window. Yes, I went to church with my parents, prayer meeting, usher board, everything. But when I got that relationship with the Lord and that stuff happened to me, that I couldn't tell nobody to this day. As a young African American female. And it don't matter about your race, but it could happen to anyone. It could happen to a young woman. It could happen to a young man. But what happened to me, I couldn't tell no daggone body. I was afraid to tell for one. It could be a woman, a black woman, a white woman, a white man, Indian man, Chinese man. And what happened to me shouldn't happen to no one. And then you can't tell nobody. That's the thing. And then you go on to live your so-called life, what happened to you. And I will tell anyone that anything that's happened to you, my beloveds, you go on and you trust God. Because when I cried in my pillow that night and I couldn't tell nobody, I knew God was with me. And I said, Lord, I'm going to test you again. Next thing I know, 2 weeks later, I didn't have to test God no more. And that's when I learned God. I learned God was real. Because for number one, I didn't tell nobody because I couldn't tell nobody what happened to me. And when I prayed to God, and I knew I hadn't told nobody else because I couldn't. I knew God was real because He answered and helped me. And that's when I knew. Because I hadn't told nobody, I couldn't. And then I said, Lord have mercy. I said, what my mom and daddy took us to church with. I said, God, you really are real. And after that happened to me, and God took care of me, I went on. Now let me tell you how God went a step further. A young lady came to me. We were, out of town from the college we went to. She said, we need to find us a church. Now mind you, I done said I ain't never going to church no more. That girl came up to me. We met in trigonometry in college. And she said, we need to find us a church. And I'm looking at her like, I done said I ain't never going to church no more. And I said, okay. And next thing we know, now God not only sent us a church where we lived in that college town. And at first it was 2 of us, 4 of us. I got my car back. 6 of us, 8 of us. And we sat at the back of the church, y'all. And the minister was like, we see y'all back there, come forward. And we was like, come forward, who he talking to? Y'all, it ended up being so many of us college students that we had said we were never going to church no more. And he said, I see y'all back there, come forward. We was on the back road. Next thing I know, we moved up. Next thing I know, it was about 20 of us piling in the car going to church. And it was just about the Lord God. And that's what he was like, God is real, God is real. And then we were so scared. Y'all, we were so scared because we was like, even the boys, the guy friends. It was like, now us girls, we was crying, but the boys was like, help us, Lord. Help us, Lord. Us girls was broke down, and the boys was like, help us, Lord. And he did help us. And the thing about that's why I know God is real to this day, because when we was like, we ain't never going to church no more. And next thing we know, we was like, God help us. Couldn't even look up. That's why I know, and that's when I learned relationship, not religion. You know what? God is so good that he gave my parents that blessing on them. I don't know how they got it. I can't ask my daddy because my daddy's gone, but but God just said, hey, I got this. Yeah, I'm here. And us so-called boys and girls in college, if I could tell you some stuff. And God just came in. And he said, I'm here. And that's when I knew for myself. I said, God, you are real. And the thing I'm thankful about is because it's not religion, it's relationship, because God is so good. When you get to a point in your life, whether you're a youngster or oldster, and you got things going on that you can't even tell nobody, You can't tell nobody because you don't want to be judged. You can't tell nobody because they're going to know what the heck happened to you. But when God come down there and don't put your business in the street, and what happened to me, I'm not going to go through that. But you just know that if God is real, He's there. Even when you get to be an old person, like me now. And the things that I prayed about to God, just say, I don't know, God, I can't do this no more. I don't even want to do it. But He came through. Brought me back to my right mind. I'm going to tell you the truth, I didn't even want to be in my right mind. When I lost my daughter, I said, oh, hell no. Yeah, my daughter was 33 when she passed away. My only living child. When I lost her, I said, oh, hell no. I don't care. And then she died on my brother's birthday. Now, come on now. Who needs a reminder? And the day it happened, it was surreal. The only other dead person I had seen was my ex-husband's mother. And when I had to walk in there and see my baby dead. Now, the crazy part, the day she died on my brother's birthday, I'm driving on the freeway. And the radio station I listened to is a Christian worship station. I heard it go into Spanish mode. I kid you not. And it was in Spanish saying, oh, da da ba dee da, ee ba da ba dee da, oh da ba so. I didn't know what the heck, and I'm looking down at the radio station like I know it's on 102.7, and boop, but I'm hearing somebody in Spanish, oh, ba da dee da, oh my sueño. And she was talking about somebody sleeping. I knew that much because I know a little bit Spanish. I'm looking down like, what in the... And I kept mashing the station. And then this person calls me and said, Mama, she gone. I said, who gone? Mama, she gone. I said, who gone? Then I dropped the doggone phone. I almost ran under diesel, and that voice came in. Oh, marabarito, oh, paquito, oh, oh. And I'm laying up here, and this lady telling me my little bitty baby wasn't gone. Oh, my bonito, so pretty. Oh, paquito, small one. Sueño, sleeping. And I'm like, what? And then the phone fell out my hand. And I called my sister. I said, where my mom at? Where my mom at? And my sister was like, we at work. We at work. What do you want? I said, my baby gone. She said, what baby? I said, my baby. And last thing I remember, got on out there to that hospital. It was in slow motion. And the guy gonna walk me back to the doctor. And when I saw my daughter laying, y'all, I'm 5'4". I'm a little lady. I might look big on this platform, but when I saw my child was 5'9". She always used to tell me, Mama, you so little. Mama, you always shrinking. Mama, every time she see me, Mom, Mom. Like she loved English accent. Mom, Mom, you're so small. Mom, M-U-M. Mom, you small. Mom, you even one is smaller. And it was so funny to me because I've always been short. But y'all, my daughter was so sweet, and she'd be like, Mom, you another inch shorter. Mom. She was in English. Her best friend would be like, I hate when you talk like that. But I loved it. Mom. She called me Mom like English accent. And y'all, my daughter was 5'9". I was 5'10". And last time she saw me, when I saw her laying out there on that table, and I told the doctor, I said, she not dead, she asleep. And I got up close up on her because her eyes were still open. And when I got up close on her, then her eyes was like fixed, like they show in the movie. I said, she not dead, she just sleep. And then I got up close on her. Her eyes were staring, and that's the worst thing. You can't never forget it. And I threw my purse down, and then I just started taking pictures with her. And then the nurses come out, don't touch her, don't touch her. But I rubbed her hair. She had the most beautiful hair in the world, y'all. She was Cajun, what they call a Geechee girl, because her daddy was Geechee. A Cajun. Cajun bad girl. Cajun just means you got Spanish, French, and white in you. And I remember when my baby was little, people would be like, oh, mixed race baby. She's just a beautiful baby. Black mama. But y'all, that hair, my God, everybody be like, what is she? What are you? I be like, girl, you black. Use black. And use Cajun. And use French. And use Spanish. You everything, baby. You are the world. And I'm not just saying that. My daughter was beautiful, y'all. And I rubbed her beautiful hair. And then she didn't have no shoes on. She had socks on. She didn't like her feet to be out. Like I love for my rusty, tusty black feet to be out. My baby did not like for her feet to be out. She had on these socks and I took off one sock. Don't nobody know that. I grabbed one sock off her foot. I kissed on her forehead and I got pictures with her. Wouldn't wish it on nobody. But God is so good. And I just walked out that place and I just said, this ain't real, God. This ain't real. And it happened on my brother's birthday. And from then on, I just said, okay, here we go again, Lord. And for God to bring me, I didn't even sleep a whole week. My niece told me I was drinking coffee. I love coffee. But my niece told me I was just drinking coffee. I wouldn't wish it on no one. I called on God again. By the grace of God. He came and sent me another message, and my daughter said, Mama, I'm happy. I wouldn't come back if I wanted to. 2 weeks later, my brother came to me and he said, Sister, Mignon said she wouldn't come back if she could. I said, God darn it. First I thought I was crazy. And my brother came back. And now it's bittersweet. You know, I'm going to tell you something. If it wasn't for God, and that's why after that I just said, God, you know I'm an alcoholic, God. You know I'm one of your children that shows out. But I know you love me. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing, God. I said, how am I going to deal with being an alcoholic and losing my baby? What am I going to do? God just said, I got you. I got you. I said, okay, we'll see. And next thing I know, I went to the psych ward 3 times. Yeah, I called the police on myself. I really did. Because I just said, oh no, hell no, let me go on and just let them medicate me. I lay up in the psych ward. I don't care. I can just be in La La Land. I called the psych ward on myself. And after that 3rd time, then I got up in the psych ward, and y'all, I had drunk so much because I was drinking alcohol. I got there, I was feeling good about being at the psych ward. I was like, okay, I'm good now. And y'all, see, God don't let you get away like that. I was sitting up in there. They put you in use. Well, you ain't never been there. Went up there in the psych ward, sitting up in these old high chairs, and what they do is everybody that's sitting in there, about 50 people, 100. And they go through and they intake everybody. What they on, alcohol, drugs, whatever. I'm sitting up here over here on the left side. I guess that was the alcoholic side. So I'm laying up here like, damn, I feel real good. Hell, I feel good. A lady sitting next to me, she talking to me, and I'm like, please don't talk to me. She started talking to me, telling me about what her boyfriend did to her, and her mom didn't believe in it. And I'm like, Lord, I can't. I'm just drunk. I don't care. I just want to sit here and be drunk, and then move on to whatever the next level. Because when you go up in the psych ward, they evaluate you and move you on. So I'm like, let me get through. They give me my water bath and whatever, holds me down, and then put me wherever, give me a shot. I can go lay down and get some doggone sleep. The girl talking to me, and I'm sitting over here like, come on. Next thing I know, she says, help! Help! She's throwing up. She's throwing up. And I'm looking over her like, who's throwing up? Y'all, it was me. The girl that was getting on my nerves, telling me about what happened to her. And I'm like, she was saying, help her, help her. She throwing up. She choking. Y'all, I'm like, who's she talking about? Y'all, it was me. I was throwing up that alcohol, choking. Next thing I know, the girl had my hand, holding my hand. She was like, you okay, mama? You okay? You okay? You okay? Okay. And I'm like, what? I'm sitting up here throwing up. The next thing I know, they turned me over my booty and pulled my pants down and gave me a shot. And then that girl, they cleaned me up. And she caught on to me and she was just saying, it's okay, it's okay. And I'm like, why the hell is she telling me it's okay? That girl, that's how God is. He send you angels when you ain't okay, but he send you an angel. They ain't okay. And that girl sat there and rubbed. Mama, you okay? You alright? And I remember that. And when they got me my stomach settled, and that girl kept rubbing on me, a friend of mine, and I said, Lord God. And then they took me on back to the back, and well, first they took me there to get a shower, and there was, they give you a shower, and they check out everything in your body. So any kind of spots, blemishes, all that. And then I got back there, and y'all, I saw this lady. Now this is the crazy part. I gotta share this. When you go into a psych ward, get back there. You ain't in your right mind because you're detoxing. So I'm back there and threw up everywhere. I get back there and they get me cleaned up, done gave me a shot. Then I see this lady saying, I hope she don't mess with me no more. So here I go in again. I'm thinking I'm in psychosis. Because I done already been out there at the front detox and done threw up everywhere. And the young girl helped me. God helped me. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to lay down for the night then. I should be good. Then this other lady sitting beside me in a recliner talking about, I hope she don't mess with me. But check out what she said. The lady she said, I'm going to say what she said. I hope she don't fuck with me. Now, I don't curse. So I'm laying up here in my recliner, done threw up everywhere. I'm like, well, damn, I'm good now. I just need to go to sleep. So I'm laid up over here. I'm in my recliner like, So the girl next to me, real pretty young lady, she said, I'm going to say it like she said, I hope you don't fuck with me. So I look up and I'm like, well, I can't fuck with her because, hell, I'm still drunk. And then I looked up, I said, baby, I said, what's wrong? She said, mama. She called me mama. She said, mama, it's a lady in here. And okay, y'all, I'm going to do it like, I'm going to have to do it like this. I'm telling the truth. So I'm laying up over here in my recliner. They done gave me a shot, meaning to bring me down from, alcohol. So the girl laying up over here, and she said, I hope she don't fuck with me. And I'm laying up here. I said, don't cuss. She said, no, I hope she don't fuck with me. And I'm laying up over here like, okay, she on her shot too. So I turned back over my recliner, and I said, Lord, just let me get some damn sleep. I'm tired of throwing up. My stomach hurt. I won't throw up no more. Then the girl, she said, mama, she fucking with me. And when she said, mama, I looked over and I said, why is she calling me mama? Now that touched the nerve because by me losing my child, anybody call me mama, that messed with my head. So she said, mama, she fucking with me. And then when she said, mama, y'all got up out that recliner. I said, what's wrong, baby? It was just like something said, as soon as she said, Mama, she fucking with me. And I raised up and just said, oh Lord, here your baby. I raised up. I said, my baby back. So I raised up. I said, what's wrong, baby? She said, Mama, she fucking with me. And then she said, I said, who fucking with you, baby? Mama here. Don't ask me why I said that. I'm on in the stage of damn psychosis. And she said, this girl keep fucking with me, Mama. And I said, first of all, stop cussing. I said, I raised you. Don't you ever cuss. God say that's blasphemy. She said, but Mama, she messing with me. I said, let it go. Let it go. I said, we done got us a shot. Let's lay down now. She said, no, Mama, it's not done. And I'm sitting up here thinking like, God darn. Now, you ain't gonna believe this. Y'all gotta pee real bad. If you watching this, give me a chance to go pee. What I tell you happened up in this psychiatric ward, you will not believe me, but I know it happened, and I'm going to tell the truth. Give me a minute. I gotta go use the bathroom. I can't hold it no longer. I'm gonna tell you what. Oh, God. This is too much on me. I'll be right back. Give me about 30 seconds. All right, I'm back. So, anyways, I'm laying up in there, and the girl, we in the psych ward, and she called me Mama, and when she called me Mama, that messed my mind up, because I was like, oh, Lord. But let me tell you what happened now. True story. The girl was saying that somebody was messing with her. Her words was fucking with her. So they call us and take us all to go get something to eat. Now the one thing, if you up in a psych ward, they feed you real good. Because for one thing, they're detoxing you, getting alcohol out your system, whatever else. So, they got to push food in you. So we get on up in there. We having us a good meal. We come back. Now this ain't crazy, but yeah, it is. We get back in our recliners. I don't know why they have them recliners in there. They did feel good though. So you come back, and then the thing, y'all, this crazy. Like they give you in a psych ward. every kind of food you could ever imagine. Like, it was so much food, it didn't even make sense. It was the kind of food that, and I stole some food. It's the kind of food that everything like a buffet, because they trying to get the drugs and alcohol out your system. So whatever you want, they put it on your tray. And you get over there, you be eating it, you be like, God darn. Yeah, I stole some sausage. I'm gonna tell the truth. I ain't never stole in my life. But the food was so good, it was like so y'all, some sausage patties. I didn't even eat sausage. Hell, I didn't even eat. I was drinking. And then I was like, I looked at the other girl, I said, oh, she said, these hash browns good. And I looked there, I said, this sausage good. Like I said, I didn't even eat. My breakfast was alcohol. Get up, cold beer. 2 hours later, cold beer. 3 hours later, cold drink of gin. I didn't even eat. That's why I stayed so little. All my life. But I was always a small lady anyway. But, people be like, you always stay so little. Like, when you see me in person on camera, I look fat and chunky like right now. But when people see me in person, they be like, oh my God, you're so little. Even when my daughter was like, my daughter be like, Mama, you shrinking by the day. And it's crazy because even when I see myself like on camera, like right now, head, jowls, all that, I look like a healthy woman. But when you see me in person, people be like, oh my God, I could put you on my back. And it is weird because, with my daughter before she passed away, she be, like I said, my daughter was almost 5'10", and she'd be like, Mama, you shrinking by the day, Mama, you about 2 feet tall. And it was so funny because like when I see myself, like even now on camera, I look huge. Like I'm like, Rrr. But when you see me in person, the way I do look real small. It looked weird. But long story short, when that girl called me Mama and we got back, and I ain't gonna lie, I stole me some sausages out that room because they gave us all that food. And I was the type, because I wasn't used to eating food, I was like getting up drinking. And I was like, I'm gonna be hungry later. And I took me like, y'all, the sausage patties was this big. And I rolled them up and then I did stick them in my bra. And I went on up in there, took me a good shower and hid them up in my little place. And but long story short, when that fight happened, that girl said, Mama. And when she said, Mama, I said, oh, hell no. Just the devil. Because, the devil can call your name, too. Especially when he know what's going on with you and knowing I had lost my child. And when she said, Mama, I'm laying up over there in my recliner. I said, here we go. And then I said this. I said, I hate to say it, but I did, because I said, you fucking devil. You fucking devil. I said, don't you dare fucking call me Mama. The only one can call me Mama is my child. And I'm going to tell you, that's another thing we know to God to see about you. Because I said, nah, boo. Because see, the Lord can call you, but the devil can call you too. Just like he did with Jesus when Jesus was up there on the mount. And the devil said, if you are the Son of God, then you can call and have bread. And that's why I'm laying up in the psych ward, and that girl called me there. And I'm like, no, devil. Fuck you too. You not gonna call me, because see, that's the one thing you gotta know too. You gotta know wisdom and discernment of God's name. When the Lord is calling you and talking to you, when the devil is too. Because see, the devil will befriend you too, and I learned that. And that's why when I was in that psych ward and was totally sober, and then when that girl was mama, and I was like, fuck you too, Satan. Don't you dare blaspheme God, and don't you dare blaspheme calling my baby's name. And that's when baby war happened. Give me a minute, because I'm going to tell you about this beat down that happened. Alright. I'm gonna wrap this up, but let me tell you something. When that girl sat there, and when she called me mama, at first I was like, oh, I done lost my daughter. Oh, it's my baby. Hell no. But let me tell you something that God did. And it scared me. It really did scare me. Sitting up over there in my recliner, and the girl kept talking, Mama, I'm finna F-U-C-K this person up. I'm like, okay, alright. Yeah, this is a true story. Next thing I know, they brought another group of women to where we were. Now, where we was, it was like a shower, one shower, a room, a blank space, another room, and then these nurses. So, me and this other girl, we up over there, a young girl. So we over there, in a so-called, whatever they call that, when they getting ready to evaluate you. And the next thing I know, they brought in another group of females, and all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose. They brought in another group of females. But before I tell this story, if you want to hear this story, put it down there below. Because when I tell this story of what really happened in psych ward, I will only tell it one time. If you want to hear the story of what happened in that psych ward, I'll tell you the truth. Then put it down below. Because otherwise, I won't even waste my breath. So I'll give it a couple of minutes. If you want to know what happened in that psych ward that day, that I can never unsee, as they say, then put it down there if you want to hear it. I'll give you a couple of minutes. If you don't want to hear the story, that's cool too. I'll get up out of here. But if you want to hear it, put it down there and I'll tell you what really happened that day. On camera. So if you want to hear what happened that day between them two women, Lord have mercy. I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. I get anxiety right now. I can't unsee it. So if you want to hear about that story, I'll tell you. If you don't, then I'll get on off here. Well, nobody wants to know about that story, what happened in that psych ward. So maybe it was meant that I didn't need to repeat it. I'm going to give it 5 more minutes. I'm going to get off here. So if you want to hear the story of what really happened in that psych ward, put it down there. If not, 5 more minutes and I'm going to get off here. Alright, I'm getting ready to get off of here. If you want to hear about the thing that happened in the psych ward between the lady and the other girl. Then put it down below. And if not, I'm gonna go. I'll give it 4 more minutes. All right, y'all. Last call. Nobody wants to hear the story of what these young ladies did that day that I cannot unsee. All right, I'm gonna give it 2.5 minutes, and I'm gonna get off here. If you want to hear what happened between the two ladies in the psych ward that day, and if not, it's all good. Okay, 2 more minutes and counting. If you want to hear the story, then put it down. If not, I'm going to get ready to lay it on down. One minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Last call for the story. Alright, y'all, 1 minute. 1 minute if you want to hear the story of what happened between those two ladies that I cannot unsee. Whew. Last call if you want to hear it. If not, I'm getting ready to go. 30 seconds. $30 if you want to hear the story. Then say it. Just say. Tell it. Alright, last 30 seconds. If you want to hear the story of what happened between those two ladies, you just put down there, tell it. If not, 30 more seconds.